Hello everyone, this is Akash Chauhan, and in today's lecture we will talk about the structure of the class. In previous lecture we have seen what is class and what is object. Okay, so in the structure of a class we have mentioned this one thing, that if we can club all these objects, okay, attributes and functions having the similar properties in one group, then that one group is called a class. Okay, so the structure of the class is combined using the data member or the attribute in our language, okay, or the member function or the behavior. In our language we have said this as a behavior. So these two are the major, I would say, the main important part of having a class or a group. Okay, so what would be the definition of the class in that case? Class is a user defined data type. If you remember that this we in the starting of this unit, the very first unit, we have discussed about uh, the different type of data type: the primary data type, user defined data type, and derived data type. So in user defined data type, class and objects are the mentioned in that list, in that diagram, if you remember. The second point is the data member and the member functions can be accessed using any object or the instance of the class. So as I said earlier, to access the data member or the attributes, okay, or the functionality written inside the class, what we need to do, we need to create an object of this class. Okay, the instance of the class can only access the data member and the member functions. But there is another part of the class which is not mentioned in the definition, that is the access specifier. The definition covers only the data members and the member functions, but I should say, without having access modifier, your class is not complete. So access modifier could be public, private, or protected. We will talk about all these things one by one, but you should be aware about the structure of the class. It contains data member. These are the primary part, data member and the member function, and the secondary is the access specifier. So let me take an example, okay, so that we can understand what is access specifier, data member, and the member functions inside the code we are going to write. Eventually we are we are going to work over some code. Okay, so we should be aware about what is access specifier, data members, and the member functions. So here is the code. Okay, in that code, if you pay little attention, this is the class, and our class name is the first class, and I mentioned this public colon access specifier. It means what I'm going to write is a public means I will discuss about it. Outside this class also, the data members can be accessed. Okay, outside this class, watch my words about the public access mod specifier. Outside the class as well, over here, let's say these data members can be accessed, but in case of private, outside the class it is not possible. Only this class can access all these members. Okay, so this is about the access specifier. Data members, again, the string name, and the member function is the logic we are going to write inside our class. So we need to define a functions, any function, to write a logic uh, in that function. We didn't write anything, but it is, you can say, this is the logic part of this function. Okay, so logic will go in the member function, your variables will go to the data members, and the access specific, your public, private, and protected will go to the access specifier. Okay, in that case we have taken is the object of the class. Okay, now we are accessing object one name. Okay, as it is a public, we can access it, and we are uh, assigning the value. Object one is calling the function, it will print the data. So these are about the specifiers, access, about the structure of the class. Okay, let's talk about access specifier in detail. So like we have said that we have three specifiers. The first one is the private, the protected, and the public. So before that, let's talk about more practically how we will be handling all these access specifier in our code. So let's say we have written a C++ code in XYZ CPP file, and we have a class name first class, and in that we have data members, means the variables like a string, integer, or float. Member function is the function we are going to write the logic inside. Okay, so we will talk about A and B in the private, protected, and public specifiers. So let me write the definition of each one of these specifiers, and we will discuss them. So in case of private, okay, A and B, this data members and the member function cannot be accessed outside the class. So if the member or the your class is private, it means the data member and the member function cannot be accessed outside the class. Okay, so what is the point of writing a private class? It means the data members and the member functions are written to use the inside logic. Okay, the data members cannot be accessed outside the class, means the member functions of that class would be using those data members. Okay, not the outside of the class can access all those data members. In case of protected, it means it is similar to the private, but in one case your data members and the member functions can be accessed if you inherit the class. So in A and B cannot be accessed outside the class. However, they can be accessed in inherited class. So if you inherit that class, then you can definitely access your data members and the member functions. Okay. So in case of protected access specifier, public, as I said, A and B can be accessed outside the class. There is no issue with that. Okay, so guys, this is about the access specifier. The second thing after access specifier is the data members. So data members, as I said, or as I mentioned in the code, is a string. We have taken my name, and uh, my name, I am, this is, we have declaring my name as a string, and here we are initializing that string. So such kind of variables would come into the data members, and the member functions would be the function we are going to write, and in the function we will write our logic. Okay, so like this member function is taking two parameters and adding the value, those parameters, the values of those parameters, and returning back. So this is what we have discussed about the structure of the function earlier in our previous lecture, maybe uh, last to last or second last lectures. Okay, so guys, this is about the member function. We have discussed about the functions earlier as well. Okay, we say this is the data type and this is the return data. The function would return this data, and this return data would be according to the data type. uh, Add function is the function. Okay, and A and B are the parameters of this function. So this is called the member function. So we have covered all these three what to say the structure of the class, the part of the structure or of the class, or these are the important three parts of the, which you know um, make a proper class where we can use access specifier, data members, and the member functions. So this is about all these three parts, but we have not discussed how to access all these data members and the member functions. For that, we need to create an object that we have discussed earlier. But after creating an object, how to access the data members? Okay, so let we I have written a few definitions. So let's read one by one. Data members and the member functions can be accessed using any object or the instance of the class. So in the previous example, if you remember, we have written a code in which we have accessed this is the data member. Okay, and this is the member function. Okay, by using the object and this dot operator. So by using dot operator, object can access data member and member function of the class. So if in the interview, if this is the question that how to access data member and member functions in a class, so your answer should be, first of all, you need to create the object of that class, and that object can access the data member and the member functions by using dot operator. This is the correct definition. Okay. Now let's talk about the scope resolution operator. This is the operator we have used earlier as well. I will discuss where we have used, but let's discuss what is the use of the scope resolution operator and what is the scope resolution operator. So scope resolution operator is made out of two consecutive colon operators. So this is your scope resolution operator, and when to use it, let's understand one by I have written some code, so let's understand one by one where we can use to access global variables when there is a local variable with the same name. So if you pay little attention, this is a global variable and this is the local variable. So if you simply print x, it will print 10 over here. Okay, but the default value would be 0 of the global variable. If you print by using this scope resolution operator, it would print 0, not 10. Okay, because you have used this scope resolution operator. So in case of global accessing, you can use this. Okay, let's say you have specified a static data member, in that case static integer. Okay, so in case of static, you have this one thing. I will cover it when it comes to the static data members or static, how to create a static variables. But you must remember this one small thing, that if a member is a static, then you don't need to create the object of that class to access that static data member or the member function. Okay, so by using the class name and using this scope resolution operator, I can directly access this static member of the class. Okay, but in before accessing your static member, you have to explicitly define your the values of your static data. So in that case, we have assigned 1 to x. Okay, so this is how you can use the scope resolution operator to access static variables. Okay, let's move on to the next one. For namespace, if you remember, we have used this earlier using the namespace where we have discussed about the using namespace, using namespace std. Okay, so if you use this, then you don't need to use the this resolution operator with the std. Okay, so we generally write this line. We have discussed about the namespace in maybe in the first or the second lecture uh, of this unit, so you can watch all those lectures to understand in depth about the namespace. So we can also use the scope resolution operator for the namespace. So it can also be used to refer the nested class. Nested class are the class inside the another class. So here we have the outside class, and we have defined another class inside this class. Okay, which is the inside class. So if you pay little attention, we are defining y, but we are taking outside class, and this is what we are interested in, the scope resolution operator inside, and inside that class we are accessing y, and we are uh, defining the value by using the scope resolution operator. Okay, so this is also a way where you can use a scope resolution operator. There is a last I think another use of using the scope resolution operator, when you use multiple inheritance. So in case of multiple inheritance, let me write what is the multiple inheritance. It means uh, we can access. Okay, this is the your first class, this is the second class, and this class C class is inheriting both of these class. I will discuss about this inheritance in detail later as well, but you must understand it is accessing the this class property as well and this class properties as well all together. And in C++, multiple inheritance is possible. So uh, so if I want to access x of a and here x of b, they both have the same name. So if I mention the class name using the scope resolution operator, then we can distinguish these x's. Okay, So this is the main function. We have taken the object and we are calling the function of this object. So the function, if you pay little attention on that, the function of it will write this code, it will print this code, and in this code we are using this scope resolution operator to print uh, the x values we have decided in a and b class, like this over here. Okay, we will talk about more about the here it is the constructor. We will talk about these constructors in subsequent lectures. We will also talk about the inheritance as well, multiple inheritance in detail. So guys, this is about today's lecture, and thank you so much for today.